Alright, so I'm going to be reviewing the Evo SS gimbal today. I looked at a bunch of the other gimbals on the market. Most of them were from overseas, and I just didn't want to have to deal with if I had any problems having to ship it overseas, because it takes forever and you have to have insurance and it's very expensive. The company that makes Evo SS gimbal is based here in the United States. It does come with a limited 1-year warranty, so if there's any problems, ship it out USPS, maybe $10 or so, and hopefully they'll be able to take care of it for you. This is the box that it comes in. It's a really nice box. I'm going to be going over it, what it comes with, and what I think of the gimbal itself. The gimbal itself is been working really good for me. You can definitely tell in the videos that I first started shooting with, when I just had the GoPro on a chesty on my chest, obviously, and then the difference between that and then when I attached the gimbal to my chest and then put a camera on top of that. Just the flow, just the way the videos look are just 100 times better. So I'm going to show you the gimbal itself, and after that I'm going to show a couple of videos, the before and after. The before being the videos I shot with just the GoPro attached directly to my chest mount, and the videos after with a camera attached to the gimbal on my chest mount. And you can tell it's night and difference. Night and difference. So the videos before and after, you can tell it's a night and day difference as far as the smoothness, the quality, and just the overall feel of the video. It makes all the difference in the world. Okay, so here's my Evo SS gimbal. I actually put the Garmin Virb camera on it because you're not supposed to turn the gimbal on unless you have a camera attached here. You can turn it on and just hold all the gimbals nice and tight if you want to just check to see if the battery's on. But if you didn't have the camera attached and you weren't holding the gimbals in place and you turn it on, it starts freaking out because the weight is improperly balanced. These are the motors, and they counteract the weight balance of the camera. So if there's no weight balance of the camera, it goes haywire. But I just wanted to show you with the camera attached. Evo does have a little app that you can control the gimbal itself through Bluetooth on your phone. So one of the things you can do is, like, say for instance you have the gimbal attached to a tripod and you want it to move where it's aiming, you have a little joystick that you can go side to side. You can turn it all the way to the left, turn it back all the way to the right, and you can also tilt the camera up, tilt the camera down. I'll take a picture of the app and what it looks like on the screen so that you can see what I'm doing here. And then if you want, there's a little restore button. I don't know why it restored it there. The other thing too with this gimbal is, if depending on where you want the camera to aim, as long as you're holding still and you want to set the camera angle to a certain spot, as long as you turn it nice and slow and hold it to that position for a second, it will stay right there. So if I wanted it to be down here, it'll stay right there. Now if if it was on a tripod and I wanted it to come back up to that spot, it'll stay there. But when I record, I have this attached to my chest, and there's a certain angle, it's usually like right about there, where I want it to stay. So it'll stay in that spot no matter what the camera does. You can see it's always pointing. Right now it's actually kind of pointing at my face. And this is the pan lock mode, so no matter which way you turn the base, it will always stay looking at the same exact point. So right now it's in the pan follow mode, meaning when it's attached to your chest, even if you turn a little bit, see, there's kind of a delay, but it will follow whichever way the base goes. But it always keeps this in the same spot. So when you're riding down the trail and you're bouncing all over the place, if you come to a turn, this will slowly follow your chest as your chest goes in through the turn, which is the way that I normally record. Another mode called following, which I don't ever use. Whichever way you tilt, it will follow. So if you tilt the camera, you tilt the gimbal up a little bit, it turns down. You turn the gimbal up, it turns up, you turn left or to the right. I've never used that. Like I said, I usually use the pan follow mode, which keeps the camera locked in the vertical, and then in the horizontal it will slowly turn with you. So like I said, when you're going through turns and stuff like that. So with this camera, when I first purchased it, I bought it with the GoPro Hero 6, and that camera is much thicker as far as depth goes, and is a lot heavier than the Garmin Virb. And the problem it was having is that the microphones on the GoPro Hero 6 were picking up the sounds from the two motors right here. So that's all you would hear in my video. Whereas this camera, the microphone, one of the microphones is here, and I believe there's another one on the top, doesn't pick up any of the motor noise. All you hear is what you want to hear. A couple other things, obviously these are the motors right here that are turning it up and down. There's also a motor here, so it's a 3-axis. Okay, so some of the things that you'll notice on here is this little LED blue light that keeps flashing. That's basically telling you how much power you have left in the batteries in the gimbal itself. If you have 4 flashes, that's full power. 3 is 75%. 2 flashes would be 50, and then when it gets down to 1 flash, that's 25% or less. That's definitely when you want to change the batteries. Little gold button here, that's the on and off button. Right here on the side you have a USB port, so that's so you can update the software in the actual gimbal. Swing you around to this side. This changes if you don't have the app attached. If you don't have your phone attached to the gimbal itself via the Bluetooth, you change to different modes here, from the pan follow to the follow, and then to the other one. This is an audio jack. So this is the battery compartment here. The gimbal does come with 4 of these batteries. They are rechargeable. It comes with a rechargeable base, which I showed in a picture earlier. This is the rechargeable base. You just stick the batteries in there. The lights turn red when they're charging, green when they're done. It also comes with a USB cable, because this plugs in through a USB cable, so if you have like a battery pack or whatever, you can just charge these on the go. So put the battery case back on. It's a nice aluminum case, so it's fairly durable. Swing you back around, get these out of the way. But overall, I've had nothing but a great experience with this gimbal. I haven't had any problems with it. There hasn't been any glitches. It's been through a couple of crashes, nothing major, a couple of kind of, over the handlebars, kind of slow motion crashes, and it's been banged around a little bit. There's actually a little mark right there on it, and it's still working great. Let's turn you a little bit so you can see. It's got the evogimbals.com logo down there on the bottom. So overall, great gimbal, great warranty. The company is US based, which I like a lot, and so far so good. Another feature I want to mention is on this motor right here, you can see this little white port. Move my finger out of the way. The gimbal itself comes with a couple of cables, so one of the cables will plug into this little white port here, and then you can that cable goes into your camera. Now you'd have to flip the camera around, so you can see like on the Garmin Virb here, the power port is right down here on the bottom. The cable that attaches here from your gimbal to the camera, it won't fit in that spot, so what you'd have to do is flip the camera around so that the power ports on the camera would be over here. The cable attaches to your gimbal, plugs into your power port. So now what you have basically is the batteries in the gimbal are powering the gimbal itself and can be charging your camera at the same time. What I will tell you is that it will go through your batteries very quickly. If you're using the gimbal batteries to charge your camera at the same time, the batteries will run out in, I want to say, less than 30 minutes. Whereas if you just have the batteries fully charged and all they're doing is operating the gimbal itself, they will outlast the batteries in your Garmin Virb. If the Garmin Virb is a brand new, 100% charged, and these are 100% charged, the Garmin will, if you're recording nonstop, the Garmin batteries usually last about 45-50 minutes. This gimbal, I've had it turned on, not recording the whole time, but just on my chest, turned on, has lasted over an hour and a half. So you may want to, depends if you're recording all day long, you may want to buy some extra batteries. Like I said, you have the extra set of batteries, and then that portable charger as well. So if you're out all day long, I usually have a battery pack with me. When one set is done and I put the fresh set in, I have that little portable charger. I'll just be charging those in a bag while I'm using this as well. And then for the Garmin, I have a couple extra batteries, so that's also another feature I wanted to point out. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about here is the actual part that you attach the camera to. These little gold screws right here, unscrew. You don't have to unscrew both of them. Just want to get one side loose and screw out this other side so you can get your camera actually into the spot. Now these are, I would assume, aluminum screws, and this little piece here that goes over the front of your camera is also aluminum. When you're threading these screws into this little piece here, you have to be very careful not to cross thread them. Sometimes when you screw them in, if it's not in the perfect angle, it'll start to get really hard to screw in. Don't keep going. What you want to do is thread it all the way back out, and it should be very, see, like right now I just threaded it back out and now it's giving me resistance, so I have to loosen it again a little bit, get it right in, and now it's going in. It should screw all the way in with very little resistance to where you can already see that. Let's turn it a little bit here so you can see the actual screws coming out the other side of the mount. It should go all the way through with little to no resistance. If there's any resistance at all, you need to stop, unwind it, and then slowly screw it back in. You do not want to put a lot of pressure on these screws, because if you cross thread it, you're going to be out of luck because you don't get any extra screws. And these mounts, you'd actually have to order a new mount from Evo. You may be able to find one on eBay, but you're gonna be out of luck for however long it takes to get a new one of these, because if you cross thread it, you're not going to be able to, the camera's not going to mount to the gimbal properly, and it's just going to be a mess. This is Shude's trail out at Santiago Oaks. I tried to line up the footage as best I can, but I've gotten faster the more times I've done it. Whew. First time down the luge on my new Rain 2. This is the luge trail in Portola Hills. I tried to sync up the video again, but I'm so much faster on my newer bike that it was really hard to get them in sync with each other. Woo! A lot of rocks. There he is. Alright, so thanks for checking out my video. Something you can do to help me out would be to click on one of these links up in the corners. One's going to shoot you to a video, the other one's going to shoot you to a playlist. And if you like what you've seen here, please click on the Urban Outdoorsman SoCal logo in the center to subscribe. Thanks a lot.